Hi there. My name's Matt, and I want to talk to you about something that I've been doing in the last couple of months that I think is really quite interesting and hopefully inspiring. I don't know much about AI, and having heard everything everywhere seem to be talking about AI, I decided it was time to work out what artificial intelligence was all about. As a theological educator, someone who trains people for Christian ministry, one of the things that I do enjoy doing is taking time to think through what we can learn about Jesus from whatever it is that we're doing or experiencing. So I thought I'd take a look at AI and ask AI to show me Jesus. I wondered, how does AI see Jesus? And what I did is I started to prompt the AI image generator I was using at that time, which was the one through Canva. And I just asked several prompts to see what images of Jesus it generated. Now, I found this to be quite inspiring and interesting. And so I collated the images together. And a friend suggested that other people might find it interesting too. So I put them together into what became a book published through Kindle Direct Publishing. Now, that was an interesting experiment and something that I just did really for myself. But as I grew in confidence using the image generator prompts, I realized that AI wasn't just about me receiving back things that it gave me, but rather me being proactive in using it as a tool to generate art, to generate thought, and to generate prayer and devotion. So I began a second book. The first book I called Jesus Through Artificial Eyes, and that's a nod to a very well-known Christian book called Jesus Through Middle Eastern Eyes by Kenneth Bailey. The second book I called Jesus Through Artificial Eyes. And in this book, I wasn't just asking AI to give me images of Jesus that it wanted to show me or that it could call from existence, but rather I wanted to see some images of Jesus inspired by different artistic styles from the past, say 400 years, from sort of Baroque to Renaissance, all the way through to more recent styles like De style or abstract expressionism. I was blown away by the images that it generated, and when I collated them into a book and saw them in a physical form that I could hold, I knew I had something that was worth sharing with other people. I posted a couple of videos online of the contents of the book, but none where I've really shared personally about them. I just want to show you some of the images that you'll see in the book. I'm particularly struck by the images later on. And if we turn to the images that we see in futurism style, I think some of these are quite striking. So images like this one here, the one that I'm pointing to, um, it very interesting in terms of where Jesus is looking and the colors and how vivid this image is. Within the cubism style, so when I asked for Jesus in cubism style, again, the images that there I think are very striking. Images like these, images like this wonderful image. And as you'll see, as I have shared these images, I've sort of interlaced them with some Bible verses that may aid your thoughts or devotions as you look at them. This one is from abstract expressionism. Again, very striking image there. The pop art images of Jesus, again, very interesting. It's a nice one there. This whole resource, this whole book, has been a labour of love. It's been something I've very much enjoyed doing, and you'll see other images on the screen as they come through. I'm really fond of this book and proud of this book. I think this is a wonderful coffee table art book that people will be interested in, whether they have a Christian faith or not. It's the kind of art book I'd love to see at Christian retreat centres. It's an art book that would not be out of place in the reception area of churches, or in a school chaplaincy room, or a chapel in a hospital chaplaincy. So if this is something you're interested in, if you are, particularly if you want to use the images in ministry, I do recommend buying the book, because if you buy any of these books and contact me, I will provide for you the original digital images that are in the books, so that you might use them non-commercially for ministry purposes. Having completed books 1 and 2, I've more recently done a book on the scriptural stations of the cross, which showcases some contemporary art for Holy Week. Again, I think this is a wonderful resource. Again, being more directive about what I wanted. You'll see the different artistic styles reappear as I look at the story of Jesus in Gethsemane before we start the longer story. Some wonderful images of Gethsemane in this book. And then we go through the actual stations of the cross, again, the scriptural stations, which follow more closely the story from the Bible of Jesus's passion. For each, we see the station of the cross, the heading, the scripture, and then we see different depictions of that. Some wonderful images here of each of these. Again, you'll see the style, and it takes us all the way through to the crucifixion and the death of Jesus on the cross. At the end of the stations, after Jesus dies, we are taken to the body being buried and entombed, and then there's a nice postlude at the end where we get just a glimpse of the hope of the stone rolled away and the empty tomb. Again, this is a really nice resource, a resource that if I was using it in a church setting, I would be tempted to take a Stanley knife to it and chop up the images to create stations around the building. And I think in a resource like this, what you're seeing is that we're not asking AI to replace artists or replace human generated art, but rather AI reflects back to us extant, existing art, and inspires us afresh to be creative, to write poetry, to paint, to do what only human beings can do in terms of reflect the divine creativity of the creator. AI has its problems and issues, and I talk about these and give a bit of a background to AI in the last in each of my books. Where it can be useful to us, I think, is as a tool that lifts our eyes beyond what we typically see, that hopefully through whatever we encounter there, we might see ourselves more clearly and see God more clearly. These series are about Jesus as AI sees him. The best thing I think I can ask AI to do is to show me Jesus, and these books capture Jesus as AI sees him. Do check them out on Amazon, see the links here. And as I say, my email address is there too if you want to make contact and if you're interested in these in some other format. Thanks very much.